What up? Welcome to Stand On Their Media. Salute to my Stand On Their Media family out there, man. Happy Friday to everybody. If you are new to my channel, man, much appreciated. Do me a favor, though. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment in this video. If I see it, I'll respond back. Share this video. Hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when we drop these videos. Now, listen. We gonna get right to the content. Let me pay bills. Salute the Scandalous Los Angeles for this great work that he did. Man, this dude is the GOAT. The GOAT. When I tell you this is an eye-opener, and to some of y'all already was hearing the speculations back in the day when it first happened. And this right here is gonna definitely raise some eyebrows. I'm gonna say this and we're gonna get right to the content. Remember what I told you that Suge Knight called Reggie Wright just recently? He called him a Judas. Remember I said that? And remember I asked, why would he call him a Judas? Like, you got to go back and remember who Judas was and what Judas did. For Suge to call Reggie Wright a Judas, I think this explains why he said that. But nevertheless, man, I'm not even gonna react throughout this content, man, because I can't tell this no better than Scandalous Los Angeles did. So salute to that brother. His link will be in the description. Discord will be in the description. Come follow us in that Discord. Come join us in that Discord. Go subscribe to Scandalous Los Angeles page. Run his numbers up. Support the truth. Support these channels that are putting out the truth. That's all I'm going to say. Sit back and relax and enjoy this content, man. Salute to everybody again. Welcome to Stand On The Media.
Why, Regional Walker, why does Mob James ride with Reggie Wright Jr. knowing him and his father murked his bro?
About 9:30, I get a call from the captain of the sheriff's station, Cecil Rambo, who I know personally and all, because he heard from the sergeant at the scene that the truck of the victim that had got shot at this gas station was registered to Reggie Wright. It didn't say of death row, although it was a death row vehicle in Reggie Jr.'s name. The driver was shot at the scene and somebody ran. And I said, Cecil, how the heck I get here if I had anything? That ain't me.
Mob James's brother Buntry gets killed.
Yeah.
You said it happened in a car that you...
I was the registered owner of.
You were the owner of that car?
Yes.
What was the situation over there? Because he said, he said on camera who he thinks killed him. So the situation with Buntry, you said that George killed him?
Yeah.
And George was a Pyru also?
Yeah.
Okay. He got stabbed?
Who?
Your brother.
No, he was shot 9 times. He was shot 9 times. I'll see on camera. Shit. Dude's in jail, name is G. Dude's in jail, name is G.
Is Reggie Wright a rat? No, Reggie Wright is not a rat. Reggie Wright was a police officer.
One notable characteristic of Reggie's is his complete lack of hesitation to sit comfortably on Vlad's futon while implicating others in murders, especially the ones of which he himself is also a suspect. He did so with Pac and Big, and now we're seeing him do the same with Buntry.
Is it Monkey Man?
Monkey Man. Well, y'all call him Monkey Man. We call him G. Monkey Man is something Info Minds came up with and started calling him. Okay. But we don't know anybody. You even say the name Monkey Man. I think you said it in the interview with James, and he was like, "Who?" But we call him G. George Williams.
But George, but that name Monkey Man has been floating around as well.
Info Minds did something.
That's Info Minds? Okay,
yeah.
Got it. Okay, so he was the one that killed Buntry.
He was one of the ones. Even if you look at the composite sketch, you can see the ponytail. Now, we call him Ponytail. That was our code word for him. Like, if you ever heard me and Suge talking, well, he'll say Ponytail. Because he had a moniker for everybody. But yeah.
Okay, so why did he kill Buntry?
So Buntry was killed in a vehicle that was owned by Reggie, and Reggie said George is the one who killed him. So Vlad asks Reggie, Why was Buntree killed? Listen to the reason Reggie gives him.
Alright. It was this dude, it's this guy named Little Rod, Roderick Reed, and George. They had this boy named Vincent Buchanan, who was V-Dog. He got killed in Compton, tortured, dropped off, handcuffed, dropped off on Central in front of the cemetery. They were real tight with him. He was, a real active, cool, Fruitown Piru dude, V-Dog, Vincent Buchanan. Suge's in prison when this incident happened, 98, 99, I don't know. That's when it happened. Now word is, okay, police kidnapped him. Well, guys wear police jackets and stuff like that. He's handcuffed. So who's number one suspect when you hear police in Compton, handcuffed? Reggie Jr. Reggie
claims that Buntree was killed because a man named Vincent Buchanan from Fruitown Piru was kidnapped by men wearing police jackets. When his lifeless body was found near the Compton Cemetery, it was clear he had been tortured and murdered while handcuffed. Reggie explained that, since witnesses reported seeing men dressed like police officers involved in his abduction, and because Buchanan was found handcuffed, everyone assumed he was responsible for the crime. Remember, Reggie is explaining to Vlad why Buntree got killed. And in his explanation, Reggie references a separate murder, in which he's just admitted he was also a suspect in.
Who run and work with Reggie Jr., and all of that? Suge Knight. Who's the closest person to both of them that's allegedly watching the tape and has a videotape of it? Buntree.
This is exactly why I call him Reggie the Rumor Wright. Wherever the Wrights go, a rumor always seems to follow. Reggie just stated that George and Roderick Reed were behind Buntree's murder, claiming that a rumor spread that Buntree had been watching a video of Vincent Buchanan being tortured and killed by Reggie's corrupt team of cops. According to Reggie, George and Rod Reed wanted to take out both Marion Knight and Buntree, seeing them as the closest people to him. It's important to note that at the time of the murder, Marion Knight was in jail.
So they mad, thinking this is really true. What people don't know is they came and confront Buntree about this, like a week or two before he got killed. Buntree goes and say, no, man, come on. It's not true about the tape, and we have nothing to do with this. A little bit prior to that, they killed a dude that's one of the dudes that actually did it. His name is David Brim. So
Brim Dave was murdered in front of Buntree's house a few weeks before Buntree himself was murdered. Reggie just said that Brim Dave was actually the one responsible for the murder of Vincent Buchanan. But he says that George and Rod Reed are responsible for the death of Brim Dave. If Reggie is a suspect in a homicide, he has no problem publicly placing those homicides on somebody else.
This same whole shit right here, like that nigga they say, Dave, nigga, that was the homie, nigga, Brim Dave, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Blood from 5-4 Brims, but he from S Gang too, though. He used to run with my homies tough. And for the record, nigga, I stopped coming around Death Row because of this bullshit right here. I knew niggas was hoes, though. I knew niggas was hoes. And when the homie got killed, I knew it was going to be consequences.
Now, this is why K9, he said that he left because of a big Brim that got killed in front of Buntree House. That ain't why K9 left. K9 was going prior to that. K9 left because he caught a case or had a case. Suge wanted to look out, told me to hire an attorney, the big-time, powerful attorney named David Chesno from Vegas.
Now you understand why Reggie went on Clubhouse and tried to destroy K9's credibility.
In front of Buntree House. That was a message. They followed him over there, killed him, shot his girlfriend. She still don't have an arm from that. But killed him in front of Buntry Hop, sending a message. Then they come and talk to Buntry. He denies it and all of that. And they call me. They call me. They call me. They call me. Say, Lil Reg, we don't believe you had anything to do with this anymore. But we want to know where Shug live. We want to get him. We give you $50,000.
So now, according to Reggie, Rod Reed and George called him and told him that they don't believe he was involved anymore. Instead, all the blame falls on Marion Knight. Everybody believed that Reggie did it because men in police jackets kidnapped Vincent, and he was found tortured and handcuffed. Some kind of way, they stopped believing that Reggie had anything to do with it, and instead blamed Marion, even though he was incarcerated at the time.
Like, fools, what are y'all talking about?
Are you still a cop at this point?
No.
Okay,
no,
you're gone at this point.
99, 2000, something
Okay.
like that. I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
But you're still connected to law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling an ex-cop, but you're still connected to law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling an ex-cop.
Even Vlad is skeptical of Reggie's story. He doesn't believe for a second that men who were convinced Reggie and his group of corrupt cops were responsible for their friend's murder would then reach out to him, offering $50,000 to facilitate the execution of another man they wanted dead.
All of this, right?
That they want you to join into a murder, basically.
Like, nigga, I'm not mad at that nigga like that. We against each other. This is like 2002, 2000.
So Reggie just admitted that at the time of Buntry's murder, him and Marion were not on good terms. He just said they were against each other. If Reggie was against Marion, then Reggie was also against Buntry, being that Buntry was Marion's right-hand man. What most people don't know is that Buntry was murdered one day after him, and Marion Knight attempted to obtain counsel from the Baker law firm.
Yes, sir. What's up with the lawyer Teresa Bingham, and why you didn't like her?
Harry Bingham. She's just the dumb white crackhead. She wasn't that good of an attorney, that's all. She's just she's a entertainment attorney, but she wasn't good. Her name was Terry Bingham, though. Terry Bingham.
So you don't got no
Hey,
relationship.
put it this way. This is how bad she was. She came in death row. Ask Suge Knight about it. When he talk about it one day, y'all gonna say y'all heard it first. This is a bitch that used to walk around shitting on herself. She's the attorney. This is the attorney. Let me tell you. She was fucking Suge. She was fucking Timmy Rue, right? Living with Timmy Rue. He had her come up there and visit his cellie, and they got caught fucking in the visitor room in Mule Creek. There's some content for you. I'm just trying to show you. So that's why I don't like Terry Bingham.
In November, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department conducted raids on Death Row's Beverly Hills offices and on Knight's homes, including one in Malibu. The raids were part of an investigation into gang killings, including the shooting on April 3rd of Knight's friend, Death Row employee Alton McDonald. The latter date is important in the Dillinger case because McDonald died just one day after he and others from Death Row met with Baker's firm about retaining Baker. Death Row's in-house attorney, Teresa Bingham, said in a declaration. Death Row didn't retain Baker then, she said in the declaration. Besides McDonald, those attending the meeting included Knight and Bingham. In her declaration, Bingham states that after McDonald's death, there was a great deal of concern, both personally and at Death Row, aka the Row, that individuals associated with Mr. Knight were at risk. Bingham also said that she left working directly with Knight last summer. The primary reason was an underlying fear that other individuals may be at risk simply for being in the presence of Mr. Knight, Bingham said in the declaration.
I'm going to ask Suge, next time Suge called, I'm going to ask him about that lawyer, and I'm going to ask him,
and you make sure you come back and say, Reggie ain't lying. You make sure you remember this day, mark it down. He going to tell you.
Why did he tell her to report you did, Reggie?
Because he was mad at Reggie? But I ain't mad at him. What are y'all talking about? We told y'all we have nothing to do with this bullshit. This is some bullshit, you know? Where is it coming from? If Buntry, because word on the street was Buntry was watching the tape. If Buntry had the tape or watching the tape, we don't know why. But me and Suge ain't had nothing to do with this. I call Suge, tell Suge, hey, these niggas is, you know, Suge, I ain't worried about those niggas. I ain't got. So everybody starting to meet and talk and meet with people and all of that, and they had meetings behind it. But they still believe it. And they've been at the Buntry ever since. And they killed Buntry.
In your car?
In my car.
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 Buntry being killed in a car registered to Reggie is ironic, because according to Kevin Hackey, Reggie attempted to have him murdered in similar fashion. He said Reggie called him out of the blue, asking him to drive somewhere for him. Kevin said he declined, and told Reggie if he wanted him killed, then to stop being a coward and do it himself. Kevin also said Reggie told him that he had enough money and knew the right people, and that he could have him killed at any time.
After that, Reggie told me, hey, it ain't given time. I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed, it ain't given time.
Hackey says he told his FBI handlers, and according to these transcripts obtained by Fox 11, also told LAPD detectives a decade ago that Wright had threatened, I can have you killed at any given time.
Did they try to somehow tie you into it, or since it is your car, or since it is your car, or?
Well, the stupid conspirators out there, I don't even want to say their names because people start giving them views or something.
Yeah.
But they're going to say, Reggie Wright Sr. was in the car, and he took off and ran. Where did that come from? Because they don't know. I think Frank Alexander.
Now Reggie brings up Frank Alexander, another person who was murdered mysteriously, and another person who said they were afraid of Reggie Wright. Reggie has been online telling everybody that Frank Alexander killed himself. Ask yourself, why does Reggie want people to believe that suicide was the cause of Frank's death?
What happened to Frank Alexander? While I was looking for Michael's
okay, let me just answer that question right quick. What did Debbie tell you happened to Frank Alexander?
That he was shot in the head.
That he was shot in the head?
Yep.
Not that he shot himself in the head?
That is correct.
So she said he was shot in the head, not that he shot himself.
But you have to understand, this woman's coming to me and talking to me.
No, but answer the question, how did she say it? That he was shot in the head?
Yes,
or that
that's how she said it.
That don't make sense.
Well, all things don't make sense. I was told that Frank was shot in the back of the head. That's why it's a cold case. It's not closed.
Frank was so afraid of Reggie that he began recording all of his phone calls with him.
If you can get lost and not get subpoenaed today, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Reggie admitted out of his own mouth that he was sending threats to Frank and his wife after the murder of 2Pac Shakur.
What about the so-called Frank Alexander tapes where he recorded phone calls outgoing and incoming, and people say that on these tapes that you've threatened to kill Frank or something like that? Can you talk about that?
No. I mean, they don't know me. Y'all should know how I talk if y'all been listening to me. All I just said, what you gonna do, man? You need to come to court, testify. All I just said, what you gonna do, man? You need to come to court, testify.
If you can get lost and not get subpoenaed today, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Reggie didn't tell him he needed to come to court and testify. You just heard him tell Frank if he doesn't get subpoenaed to court, he would be fine. This is how much of a liar he is.
Tell the truth. Do what you're supposed to do. All I said that, y'all call is a threat. And that's me being funny, throwing a jab at him. Where you and your little white bunny gonna hide? That's a threat? I said, well, what you think? You and your little white bunny gonna go somewhere and hide or something like that? Or what y'all gonna do? I forget exactly what was said. But that's just me talking shit, throwing a jab, how I talk. That's how I talk. That's who I am. All of y'all think I'm
y'all know me and know this and know all of this, and y'all know Reggie, and Reggie's a square and a buster and all of that. It's because you don't really know me. Y'all know what I perpetrate or put out on that particular day, but you don't really know me. You don't. So you don't know what I'm capable of doing or not doing.
Not only did Reggie admit to threatening Frank, he also admits that he instructed Frank to lie about the event leading up to Pac's death.
All right, can we talk about the situation that landed Suge in jail, which was the videotape of the Orlando and 2Pac fight? Before, like after that happened, you had always said that your one lie was that you told Frank and you told others to state that Orlando had tried to get 2Pac's chain. Can you explain why you wanted that narrative pushed and what was the reasoning for that?
Well, I tell others. I just told Frank. Frank was the only one there with him that was still alive. But people always say, yeah, he had Frank lie and tell the story. The reason for the lie, or the reason for the story, was to save 2Pac from getting violated for a pill bond.
But I think at the end of the day, ultimately, Reggie is and will be the fall guy at the end of the day.
Kevin Hackey said Reggie will be the fall guy, because clearly he knows that Reggie is not the only one involved in the murder of Pac. And Kevin Hackey also knows that the orders came from above Reggie. It's just like the lawsuit Marion Knight has against Dr. Dre. He blames Dre for attempting to have him killed at the One Oak nightclub, but he also names Universal.
This call is being recorded.
It's your understanding, based on the evidence, that Dr. Dre told the two guys that met you at the burger spot to kill you.
Dre came to them first and asked the two guys how much it costs to get rid of me. And they said, what you mean by get rid of him? And they said, kill him. He gave guys 20 grand and even more in cash to kill me. It was a murder for hire case.
Suge Knight, in several prison interviews since being locked up, has claimed he believes there was a plot against him by Dr. Dre and Universal Pictures, which had caused the incident which had him put away for 28 years. 5 months after the One Oak shooting, Suge Knight claimed Dr. Dre and Universal Pictures allegedly put out a second hit on his life. YouTube channel Bomb First with Death Row Records former head of security Reggie Wright Jr. done an interview with a man called D-Dog in 2023 who knew details about the case and claims Universal Pictures and the district attorney's office had allegedly worked towards putting Suge Knight in prison.
When that case is all said and done, Dre will be the fall guy, not Universal. Just like Reggie will be the fall guy, and not Jimmy Iovine.
People send our demos in. Andre redo them. We redo the raps. Yeah. That's the song. Alright. I took that same get down, so basically I took it from Easy. It did the same shit. I took it from Easy and took it to another level. Alright. And guess what? Jimmy Iovine sent me to prison and stole it from me. Jimmy Iovine sent me to prison and stole it from me. Jimmy Iovine sent me to prison and stole it from me.
Marion said Jimmy Iovine sent him to prison and stole Dr. Dre from him. Jimmy had enough power to put Marion in prison, and enough power to get 2Pac out of prison. It was Jimmy that gave Marion $1.4 million to bail 2Pac out of jail, and he allowed Marion to take all the credit for it.
It's for 2Pac, who was bailed out of prison in October of 1995 from an appeal by Death Row's criminal defense attorney David Kenner. Artist Delray Richardson showed paperwork on the YouTube channel Art of Dialogue, which showed how 2Pac was not actually signed to Death Row Records and had his Interscope contract updated to a 3-album fulfillment under Death Row. Suge Knight got $1.4 million from Interscope, which was used to bail 2Pac out of prison, with him then making music with Death Row Records under the updated contract agreement. The $1.4 million from Interscope came from 2Pac's 1994 Me Against the World album, which was distributed by Interscope, meaning 2Pac bailed himself out of prison, making it look as if it was Death Row. His bail was initially refused, which caused an appeal to be filed by Death Row criminal defense attorney David Kenner, as Interscope was not providing help from not wanting their brand associated with the charge which 2Pac was in prison for. 2Pac's wife at the time, Keisha Morris, called Suge Knight and asked him to get 2Pac signed to Death Row Records to get him out of prison, which led to David Kenner filing the appeal and Interscope giving Suge Knight 2Pac's own money made from Me Against the World to bail him out, to make it seem as if it was Death Row Records and not Interscope.
I remember Jimmy Iovine was so mad at me. Jimmy Iovine, when I started running Death Row Records, used to do things that I know he probably wouldn't even have done for sure.
What was it about Reggie that made Jimmy like him so much, that he would do things for him that he wouldn't do for Marion?
But he did it to make it happen, to make me look good and to stay in contact with him. We did an article on him first we did something where we put his house on this tape that we were doing called Death Row Uncut. Yeah. And then we put the address and the direction to his house there, tapping at him. The second thing we did was we did an article about him in U.S. Newsweek, where we was pretty much talking about the Dolores Tucker situation and Bob Doyle and all of that. And U.S. Newsweek was a big magazine at the time. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and so we were going to say something bad and talk bad about him, and laying out a bunch of stuff because I had the writer come up to the prison and wrote all this stuff. Of course, the writer went back and told Jimmy all the stuff we said, and Jimmy had a lot of connections then, and he got the article stopped. But he called me in the office and he said, Reggie, you doing all of this to me, and you sitting right there with him because you know about it, and you ain't calling, letting me know, you ain't giving me hands up to this stuff. I gotta find out on my own. I said, Jimmy, wait a minute, I work for Suge Knight. I'm Suge's friend. I'm loyal to Suge. Right. And he goes, Reggie, you gonna learn one day who got the real power around here and who doesn't. And he goes, Reggie, you gonna learn one day who got the real power around here and who doesn't.
Reggie already knew that Jimmy had the real power, and Reggie knew this because Jimmy had Reggie Sr. and the Rampart cops in his pocket. Death Row Dave already let us know that Jimmy and Reggie Sr. were good buddies.
Jimmy is close personal friends with Reggie Wright Sr. Jimmy is close personal friends with Reggie Wright Sr.
Now that we know Reggie Sr. and Jimmy were close personal friends, listen to the story he tells about him insisting that Marion Knight get real police officers for Death Row security.
A very funny story is that I insisted that they get real security. Real cops. Okay?
Not the hood cops.
I said, no, this is what happened. I insisted they get real police. Because I didn't want to, I said, I just can't do this anymore. It's just crazy. I come to the studio and there's all these guys and it doesn't feel like,
Jimmy said he insisted that they get real police because he comes around the studio and it doesn't feel like. Then he didn't finish it. So according to Jimmy, there is no right-way security at Death Row yet. And he came to Marion telling him to get real cops there. This shows you Jimmy's hand in getting 2Pac out of jail, and his hand in getting police officers and undercover FBI agents around him.
So, next time I go, there's real police. Next time I go, there's real police. Next time I go, there's real police. Right? Way after it ends, I found that they were Rampart guys.
Reg already knew that he worked in law enforcement. So anybody that get on the platform and say you a police, yes I was. Period. Now motherfucker that worked at Death Row can deny that and say he wasn't. Nobody that or didn't know that. Wait a minute, that was back then, that era, can't say they didn't know that we had more than one police officer in that motherfucker. We had police officers hanging out and robbing banks and shit. No, you didn't. Don't say no shit like that. We had police officers hanging out and robbing banks and shit. We had police officers hanging out and robbing banks and shit. We had police officers hanging out and robbing banks and shit. No, you didn't. Don't say no shit like that. I ain't never been done no motherfucker before in my life.
I found that they were Rampart guys.
So what Jimmy just did right there is put the nail in Reggie's coffin whenever they're ready. Reggie has insisted that he and his father don't know who any of the Rampart cops are. Reggie claimed that he doesn't know Rafael Perez or David Mack, who have both been implicated in the killing of Christopher Wallace. Now Jimmy just said he found out that the cops working for Death Row Security were Rampart guys, and Reggie Wright Jr. is the owner of that company.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had no idea. How am I supposed to know? I had no idea. How am I supposed to know? You know. Yeah. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm innocent or guilty. I'm just saying that it happened.
Jimmy did this because, just like Kevin Hackey said, Reggie would be the fall guy at the end of the day. What people have to understand is that before Jimmy did this interview letting us know that he insisted that Marion get real police officers, Reggie Wright Sr. had already went on Vlad TV and told everyone that he contacted Marion Knight because there was a rumor that some of the guys in his inner circle planned on kidnapping and robbing him.
Now, you met up with Suge at one point and said that some Mob Piru guys were going to like kidnap him or rob him or something?
Well, I had gotten some information, that some of the mob guys that he was, trying to hire or work with him in Death Row were going to eventually kidnap him and rob him. So I had gotten that information, and by, knowing the guy, knowing he wasn't no hard guy, I wanted him to be aware so he can watch his back. And I did meet up with him to more or less say, you need to watch who your guys are around you, because, if they don't feel as though they gonna get enough money out of you or something, they gonna rob you. That's what the word is. And that's when we met and we discussed that. And he took heed to it.
Okay.
He took heed because he offered me to be a security. And that's when I told him, half the guys that you run around with, I'm working cases on them.
Okay.
That's how that went.
And is that when your son, Reggie Wright Jr., kind of stepped in and filled that role?
Eventually, he got with Suge because, he grew up with Suge and stuff. And Reggie had started his business, security business, because he had retired from the police department because of injury, and he was setting up his security business. And then he and Suge finally talked, and then Suge hired him, as a security, and it went from there.
After Jimmy did that interview, Reggie Sr. knew he had to change his story a little bit.
Death Row I could talk a lot about because my son was part of that security and police thing when Death Row first started. Matter of fact, Suge and my son grew up, I lived about a block from where Suge was raised. And they both played football at Linwood. So I knew Suge long before he got involved in all this stuff. But then once all this developed and he started Death Row and stuff, he had a group of the Mob Piru guys or Lulu Park Piru guys that Suge had to hire or had part of his entourage and stuff like that. I used to call them the gangster security. Got it. Okay? But then he, knowing it was getting a lot crazy in that, knowing he needed some police actual security. My son was a Compton police officer at the time, but he got hurt in an accident. Him and Suge was tight, so he got with Suge, and my son was starting a security business on his own called Right Way Security. So he got with Suge, because Suge first contacted me through Reggie.
Now Reggie Sr. is saying that he was first contacted by Marion through his son Reggie. But on Vlad TV, he said he contacted Marion because there was a rumor that one of the mobs was going to kidnap him. Do you see the way Jimmy hung them out to dry?
Just 3 days after the awards, 2Pac and others attack an LA gang member in a hotel lobby after a Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. Believed to be in response to an earlier assault against someone affiliated with Death Row, the attack will land Death Row head Suge Knight in jail, and according to some police reports, lead to 2Pac being shot less than 3 hours later.
This is the footage of what happened to Orlando Anderson after he was jumped by Death Row. If you take a deeper look, you'll see police officers in plain clothes acting as spectators. Right here to the left of the screen, you see Reggie Wright Sr. holding his arms behind his back. Notice that no one else is standing with their arms behind their backs. That's just one of those special things that Reggie Sr. subconsciously does. The guy in the tank top, the guy in front of him, and the guy behind him are also police officers. Notice how this officer is using some kind of speaking device. If you didn't think they were all together, you can now see the officer come behind the other officer and place his hands on his shoulders. And as you can see, Reggie Wright Sr. is still standing there with his hands behind his back. Let's examine facial features real quick. As you can see on the picture to the right is a headshot of Reggie Wright Sr. You can see that he has an indentation on his face right here, which can also be seen in the picture of him on the left. He also has noticeably broad shoulders. And now, as the Las Vegas police are talking to Orlando, a guy walks up in a white suit that also has broad shoulders, like Reggie Wright Sr. Notice the police officer that is now walking behind Reggie, watching everything that's going on. After he walks past, the Reggie look-alike follows behind him with Orlando. Somebody asked Reggie to show a picture of himself the night of the murder. If he had a white suit on, then there you go. After Russell Poole released this footage, Vlad the Vulture tried to help Reggie out.
Also, there was a Harlem club owner named Zip Martin, who's in business with the Southside Crips and who splits his time between New York and LA. So one of the New Yorkers who's with Zip, this guy, is sent to get Anderson away from the cops and bring him to the food court where they can regroup.
You guys see the type of protection Reggie has? As soon as Russell Poole dropped this footage, Vlad had some clown take it and say a guy from New York walked up to Orlando Anderson and was able to take him away from the police. The other day I was watching a Vlad video with Reggie Wright Sr. in it, and surprisingly enough, he was doing the arms behind the back pose again. Black police officers being sanctioned by the filthy rich to kill any potential black messiahs.